Hi, Henk Akkermans here. Supply Chain Dynamics, Chapter 7, Sysdea Gameplay 5, Base Case Behavior. Let's look at what this model does and also what historically the project did that this model is trying to replicate in its behavior and structure by looking at it stage by stage. So the whole project duration is up to 200 time units, weeks. The first phase is actually completed after slightly more than 40 weeks, and we are now at a time 60 time units. And what you see is that over the time period, just about all tasks have been done. Just about, if you go to the table view, then you can see that after 40 weeks, there are still 145 tasks left. After 60 weeks, just about everything has been done. So what is happening there after 40 weeks? Also here we can look slightly more precisely after 40 weeks. We see that after 40 weeks, for 3 more weeks, quite some more work, 23 tasks are being done. But really what is mostly happening is, if you look at the post-movement tasks, it's from week 33 onwards, not 40 but 33, we see quite some postponements to the next stage. And that's basically what is happening. Now, why isn't everything done after 40 weeks? There we have to look towards capacity. The capacity available, and all this capacity is dedicated at first to this first stage. In 40 weeks, the 1,000 tasks should be 25. Well, it isn't 25 not at all 25. You see that, in fact, we never reach 25 time units. So the desired capacity is never at this point. We also see that there is already a budget pressure happening during this first stage that is decreasing this number, small bits, but nevertheless you see that capacity is growing, but that towards the end of the first phase there's already there's already a dip up here. And this increase has to do with the second stage. But let me explain that a little bit from here. Because so far we are in the first stage. And that's been done. If you now move time towards, say, 90 time units, we have task 2 completed. Here also the tasks have almost completely been done. And if you look at the rate, and most of these tasks appear to have been done. Well, there were at first 1,000 tasks. While stage 1 is postponing work, this 1,000 is growing up to 1,086. From week 43 onwards, the task phase 2 is actually starting, so this becomes smaller again. You can see that also here in the start of this phase, that the actual work begins in week 44. Then not just more tasks are coming in from task stage 1, but also stage 2 is growing steadily. And these tasks, in the end, some 930 tasks has been done. But please bear in mind that 1,000 plus, well, what is it, 120 tasks in total have to be done in stage 2. Only 931 are actually done. So the rest is again being postponed to stage 3. This postponement also takes place towards the later stages of stage 2. See, that's already starting from week 70 onwards and really getting big in week 81. Remember that in the original schedule, 2 times 40, Week 80 should be the week where stage 2 was completed, but now we see quite some substantial postponement happening to stage 3. And in stage 3, well, let's stick to stage 2 again, and let's see what the reasons here are. Well, we have postponement, we have a later start of stage 3, and that starts really, we can check, it starts not in week 80, not in week 83, it starts in week 85, so some delay, but most of it, most of the reaction towards not finishing up has been postponing work. If we then go back to the capacity flows, we see that development capacity now is already decreasing, the total capacity. And that has to do with the increasing budget pressures up here. The budget pressure effect is initially quite small, but is growing steadily over time as there is just a higher percentage, a smaller percentage of time left, and a higher percentage of the budget spent. So the budget pressure effect is growing, and as a result of that, total capacity available is becoming less over the course of week 2, of stage 2. Here you see the three stages, the capacity neatly allocated once more. Stage 1, a thing done by week 43. Stage 2, serious allocation starting in week 43, 44, and continuing until, well, most of it until week 84. And in week 84, stage 3 starts. Stage 3 starts in week 85. So total capacity decreasing, but the capacity allocation nicely per stage. Yeah, and then the bad news, of course, because then it all stops at around, yeah, earlier already. Let's see when. By now, if you look at tasks to be developed in stage 2, and you see that those stay pretty stable from week 140, basically. Then there is no more budget left. Is that true? Is there no more budget left? Let's see. Yeah, the cumulative project costs have reached the total. There's hardly any development capacity left anymore at this stage. Capacity, yeah, of under 1. After a week, already at around week 140, almost all the budget has been burned, as it happened in real life also. And so the project is stopped, and the project is not completed. If you want to complete with this model the project, you have to do something else. You have to increase the budget or increase the time or do something smarter with the switches. But those are the scenarios that we'll look at and the policies in the coming gameplays and policy experiments. Right now, it's a sad but compelling story, I think, of how a wonderful project never came to finish.